Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hello and welcome to another edition of Encounters. Today I'm joined by Mr. Randeep Singh of S.W.A.T, the Sikh Welfare and Awareness Team, based in Southall, ostentatiously, but beginning to branch out nationwide. We're going to be discussing with him in the run-up to winter now. It's getting cold, people are beginning to notice that thing. We're going to get into the things they're involved in, the things they're trying to raise awareness of, and the things they're trying to promote the welfare of. Mr. Randeep Singh, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Explain to us and the guests and the viewers exactly what it is you do.
Okay, the Sikh Welfare and Awareness Team, we launched in 2008, and we didn't start off as a homeless charity, but this is what we're known as now, predominantly,
right,
that we do a lot of homeless work. We actually started off as a youth charity. We identified an issue in Southall. Me, myself, my brother, and a couple of other guys, growing up in Southall, coming to the Gurdwara in Southall, we tried to make a difference at the time when we were there in Southall, and we failed because we were young and unexperienced.
Try to make a difference in what sense?
Drug issues, issues with other faiths,
right?
How to bring
community
issues, yeah.
Not interfaith.
No, not interfaith. Yeah. So growing up in Southall, we went through issues. At a very young age, there was a lot of racism in Southall.
Yeah.
Then we went through an issue of gang issues in Southall, which young impressionable kids are going to be dragged into.
Of course, yeah.
Then we went through a phase of Sikh Muslim issues. There was horrendous issues, gang related as well as community related issues.
Yeah.
With girls being involved in all of this as well. So we went through that, and then
does that still exist?
It does. It does, but it's
not as pronounced.
It's a lot. It's undercover.
Yeah.
It's all happening because they've got cleverer the way they do it.
Right.
So they're not going to come up to your faces and say, "We're going to do this," because they know you're going to get the Sikhs back up. You're going to get their back up, and you're going to.
And they'll get a response that they don't
really
want.
So what they'll do is now they'll say, "You're our best friend. We've got no issues with you," but undercover they're still doing the same issues. Nothing's changed. It's still the same. So that's another show, really, to be honest.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So what we highlighted. So we were young at that time when all these issues were going on. We all then went away. We got married. We had kids. We came back together and we thought, what are the issues in Southall now? The major issues. The major issues in Southall at the time in 2008, even now, heroin, drugs. So we thought, how can we address this issue?
When you say heroin, are we talking deviants of heroin? Are we talking about
the drug
diasporic Southall Sikh Punjabi residents? Or are we talking about immigrant Punjabi?
No, we're talking about born and bred British Munde, Kuriyan,
addicted to heroin,
right, selling themselves to pay for their habit. And so, being concerned parents, we're thinking, can we address this, and how can we address it? So we decided that what could have we done with when we were on the streets of Southall, apart from the Gurdwara, because we can go Gurdwara, we can Matha Tek, but what's the Gyani telling us? At that time I had no idea what he was telling me. I was going there to eat, come back, thinking that I've got some kind of blessing from there. So we decided to set up a youth club. And the whole point of the youth club in Southall was to educate the kids that are coming in about the dangers of drugs and alcohol, because we believe these are the two main problems of the family breakdown at the moment in Southall. Not only Southall, but because we live in the area, we can identify with it. So we set up a youth club, and it's a typical youth club. We've got PlayStation, Wii, table tennis tables, pool tables, air hockey. We take them on trips, and then every few weeks.
Who funds that?
We applied for a small grant from the local council, and they gave us a few £1,000s from that, and then the rest we just raised from different people, from the community, from friends.
Is that ongoing?
It's ongoing, yeah. It's ongoing. So we set the youth club up. We had about 35 to 40 youth. Predominantly there were Sikhs, because we're called a Sikh Welfare and Awareness Team. People think it's only for the Sikhs, but it's not only for the Sikhs. It was for everybody. So we had a mixed bunch of kids that were coming in.
Yeah.
So every month or so we'd have a drug worker coming in, and they would talk about the dangers of heroin, the dangers of marijuana, the dangers of different drugs, what alcohol does to you, how it affects you, and it wasn't only for the kids. This was actually for the parents as well. We wanted to educate the parents about that. If your child comes home, and what are the signs to look for if you think your child is taking drugs or alcohol? Okay, if your child is not on drugs, but your child's friend might be on drugs,
right.
So the signs to look out for in their friends, so you can educate your children to maybe keep away from them, or talk to their parents and say, look, this is what we think. So it was an initiative where we thought, let's start from here. So this is how the whole Sikh Welfare and Awareness Team started out.
Wow. So you're all over YouTube. People do know you mainly, predominantly, outside of Southall for your homeless work.
Yes.
How did that come about?
The homeless project started in 2009, so after about a year of running the youth club. One of the drug agencies contacted us and said, there's an old Sikh gentleman who's presented himself to us, and he's saying that he's homeless, but the problem is that he's an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Can you help him? And we said, homeless is not our remit. We don't do homelessness. We don't know nothing about homelessness. And so we kind of had a discussion between ourselves, and we thought, you know what, apna banda.
Yeah.
If we can't help him, who's going to help him?
Who's going to help him?
So we decided to go and see him. So we sat with him, we talked to him, we met him. Looking at him, he didn't look homeless. He looked quite well presented, but you could tell he was homeless from the smell.
Right.
Yeah. So I still didn't believe that he was homeless, because I just thought he's from India, he's going to try taking us, he's trying to take us for a ride.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, where do you sleep? He told me, he said, I sleep at a certain place. So that night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I drove down to that place, and he was there sleeping under a shelter. It was raining that night, and the rain was just about running past him, and he had this grotty Rajayi over him with cardboard underneath him. And I thought, you know what, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In this day and age, homelessness, apna banda, Sikh, in Southall, unheard of. So at this point, we decided we're going to help him.
That pride, that anak that you've just displayed there.
Yeah.
Why is that, or has that been missing?
When you say
from
miss,
Affinity?
no. See, the thing is, at that point, nobody knew there was homeless people in Southall.
No, but the moment you found out and you knew it was real,
Yeah.
it was in this day and age. Apna banda, how is that possible?
Yeah, because look at us, look at our history, look at where we've come from, where we've been the protector of other faiths.
Of course, yeah.
So, how can we allow apna banda to be homeless? Guru Nanak Dev Ji, I don't think it's not in our blood to do to allow this to happen.
Yep.
The whole ethos of Sikhi, the langar concept is for the downtrodden.
Yeah.
The homeless.
But yet our own are homeless.
Yeah, we're too busy doing Sarvat Dapala, but what about our own Sadhe Bande? So we went down and we saw this guy. I personally saw him sleeping where he said he was sleeping. So the next day we met with him.
You didn't wake him up, didn't disturb him?
No.
Didn't even let him.
We didn't want him. I didn't want to. He might have felt kind of.
Yeah.
He's going to think they've seen me sleeping here. Changani lagda.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, Shak
Yeah.
kita. To say, they didn't believe me.
Yeah.
So I didn't want him to feel that either. And we're talking about a 70-plus-year-old man here.
Wow.
With a bug, dari, full on. So that evening, we decided that we're going to help him. But we're not going to help him as S.W.A.T. We're going to help him as individuals, because in our eyes, this is one individual that's homeless in Southall in 2009. Yeah. So we put some money into a pot. We got him a room. we've kind of linked him up with people that may be able to help him in certain other ways. We bought him some food. We got him washed up, showered up. We took him to the Gurdwara and introduced him to people there that might be able to help him.
Yeah.
And eventually, we helped him go back to India because that's where he wanted to be. But what happened between the first day of meeting him and the next sort of 5-6 days was pretty much unprecedented, because he's gone back to his homeless community and said, actually, there are people out there that are, they're not just talking the talk. They've actually helped me. They've got me a room. They've got me clothes. So the next day he phoned us and he said, I've got 2-3 friends that are homeless as well. Again, same situation through our same, you know.
You're looking at each other thinking,
Are they taking us? Are they going to take us for a ride?
Yeah.
So we said, all right, where are you sleeping? So they took us to the bin rooms of Havelock Estate in Southall.
Right.
We opened these bin rooms up and we looked through, and what we saw was, there's lots and lots of these bin rooms, and in each bin room there was probably about maybe, I'd say up to maybe 10 people sleeping in each bin room. And we were just shocked at what we saw. There was a hidden homeless community. So we launched a project called The Forgotten. And these were the people that were forgotten. A majority of them had come over from India. They had ended up on the streets because there's no work available for them. And there was a lot of factors why they ended up on the streets. Yeah. And there was a lot of factors why they've come in the first place. But we can talk about those.
Can you go into them though? Just so that the viewers at home can understand and try and appreciate at what point you were able to spend X amount, easily in the thousands, to get to the UK. And then you end up on the street. When
you're living in the bin and your next door neighbour has built a mansion in the bin,
yeah,
and there's pressure from your parents saying, "Tu hi jaake kar." So that's one of the issues.
Yeah.
That you need to go out, you need to make money and send it back.
Yeah.
So that's one of the issues. The other issue is that a lot of the community out there, a lot of our Bandiyat are trying to get rid of their kids out of Punjab because of the drug issues there.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are coming over that have been affected by 1984. See, we don't hear about this, but we hear it on the streets. You know, people have shown us marks on their bodies, torture marks. So they fled for that reason.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have come for a better life. That's what they've come for. They've come to better their life, better the life for the people back in Punjab as well. And that's predominantly the reason why they're here.
Yeah.
You know, so they've come, and you know, in 2009, one of the biggest issues that was going on in Southall was that there was this student visa that was being issued in Punjab, in India, which opened the floodgates. Tens of thousands of students were coming over, and they were flooding Southall. And what these students were doing was saying that if I'll work for £20 a day, don't pay me 40. So the old Fojis that were here, they were being affected by this. They had to drop their rates. They couldn't pay their rent. They ended up homeless. So
that's how it ended up being, just a knock-on effect of.
It was a knock-on effect.
Cheaper labour.
Younger, cheaper labour. The other thing was, you know, the government.
Yeah.
They started coming down very hard on businesses who were employing illegal immigrants. Yep. They were saying that, you know, if
£15,000 fines, UKBA was created.
£15,000 fine. Yep. So shopkeepers are getting scared, builders are getting scared that we can't afford this. So that created a problem. So with the influx of students, the influx of people coming over, UKBA and the government getting harsh and hard on
illegal labour.
Yeah. Was causing a problem. And then the other problem that was happening here was that because of so many students that were coming into Southall, the rents were going up.
Of course they were, yeah.
Yeah, and there was, if you tried to get a room in Southall, it's very difficult to find a decent room in Southall because of the amount of people that are coming in.
So overpopulated, do you think?
Definitely.
Southall.
Definitely.
It's number one destination for Punjabis, really.
Absolutely.
Either that or Birmingham.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, unless you've got links and connections elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you'll be going to somewhere specific. But
Yeah.
in general, they're coming to Southall, they're coming to Birmingham.
Yeah, yeah.
At what point, or do you think at all, is the government responsible?
See, the government's job is to keep illegal immigrants out of this country.
No, but they're here now.
Okay. So their responsibility starts the minute they step into the minute a legal immigrant comes into this country, it's the government's. They are the government's problem. You can't say, because when we approached the council and we said, what are you going to do about these people? There's 150 plus people that we've discovered in South are living in bin rooms and in sheds and in cemeteries. What are you going to do about it? They said, as far as we're concerned, they don't exist in our eyes. They don't exist. So, you're fighting a losing battle.
Harping back to the old days, Punjabi agitations for various different political reasons or for whatever goals, you just turn up and sit on their doorstep until they do something about it.
Yeah.
Would that not be an idea, to get the homeless and just sit outside the council offices day in, day out and just show the world that, look, the council's not doing anything. We're sitting here, this is a problem that they say doesn't exist. They say that we're invisible, we're not their issue. But when we're sitting on your lawn, we are your issue now. I know it seems a bit direct action type of thing, but would that not put the urgency in the matter?
No.
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 Think it'd be ignored?
It'd definitely be, because they were there and they were ignored. They were ignored for years. Although we had highlighted the issue to the council, it was still ignored. The only way the council picked up on it was when the BBC and Channel 4 and Sky and the Evening Standard did a front page spread on it.
Yeah.
And heads were rolling in the council then. We were working with Ealing Council.
Is this just a strictly West London issue?
With Fodge, with the
Fodgy, yeah, with the homeless.
Yes, yes.
It's not happening in Ilford or anywhere like that.
It is happening in Ilford, and it's happening in Birmingham, and it's happening in other places, but not as bad as Southall. Southall is ridiculously bad. We discovered 150 plus people in the space of days after helping one person, and the only reason they came out was because they realised that actually these people are helping us. And even after coming out, they had a lot of pride. They didn't want to be identified as homeless. Some of them didn't even look homeless. They'd rather go and get a haircut, rather than to have long. Indian homeless people are not your typical British homeless.
No,
they won't walk around with bags and trolleys and long hair. They'd rather groom themselves first and then think about food, because they know Guru Nanak Dev Ji's looked after the langar concept. They're going to get fed regardless, because how many Gurdwara in Southall? 14 plus possibly.
Yeah.
So food has never been an issue in Southall for homeless people.
It's just where to sleep.
It's where to sleep.
And how to make
and
money
work,
to get a job. Yeah. You said earlier, I apologise, I interrupted you.
No problem.
With regard to BBC, Channel 4, Sky, Evening Standard front page. That sort of exposure, did that bring any sort of relief to yourselves? Was that helpful? Or was it counterproductive?
No, it was definitely helpful. Long term, it was definitely helpful, because then the council started taking their role a bit more seriously on how we're going to help these people. They started putting some medical provisions in place to help these people. They started emergency shelters for certain people. The older people were looked after a little bit better. The agencies that look after homelessness in the local areas were more productive into what they were doing. So I'll give you an example. In 2010, November, there was a homeless count in the whole of the borough of Ealing, an official homeless count. And that official count was about 4 or 5. In the whole
4 or 5 people?
4 or 5 people.
500?
4 or 5 people in the whole of the borough of Ealing.
Okay.
And so in 2011, suddenly, I think it was January or Feb, there's front page Evening Standard, 150 plus homeless immigrants.
In Ealing alone?
In Southall alone.
Right.
Then obviously there's a problem here. How come that these people have not been identified, but yet you've only counted 4 people. Are these people not doing their job? So when we spoke with them, we said to them, why have you only got a figure of 4, and we've just uncovered voluntary organisation that uncovered 150 plus people, yet your people that you're paying millions to
this, yeah.
can't even find more than 4 people. They said, they were making excuses that our guidelines for a homeless person,
based.
are somebody needs to be bedding down in the same area for a certain amount of days. And I said, look, you haven't done your job. You need to start doing your job. And that's when they started working with us a little bit more. And they said, look, we will work together. We will address this problem. And they did do. They have been since.
So there's a good cohesion between the two now. Are you cooperating?
Yes, definitely.
That's brilliant. With regards to the media, they took it on. Did they take it on as a novelty story? They didn't really follow up. Did they follow up?
Do you know what? It's always the case with the media. It's to pull in the crowds. It's to show the world that there's an issue going on in this place and there's a problem here. The Daily Mail have got their own agenda when they publish the story.
Of course.
And then the BBC did a fantastic documentary called No Man's Land. You can find that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they followed one guy, his story, and they even went back to India and spoke to his family and said, why don't you ask him to come back home? He's living in squalor here. And then,
but with regard to media, you've made various films yourselves. They're available on YouTube if anyone wants to watch them. Go out of your way and watch them yourself in your own time at your own convenience. They're well worth a watch. I've watched a few of them. They're eye-opening, to say the least. Yourself there, you're explaining yourself quite articulately a few years back. So it's not overnight. You haven't just discovered this problem. You've been working on it. If we can, we'd like to go and broadcast some of this video footage now. So we'll call it a small break. We'll show the viewers what you do with regard to what you say.
Yeah.
And they'll see it for themselves. We'll come back after this break.
मेरी उम्र तकरीबन 51 साल में चल रहा है 51 जी मैनू 10 और 11 महीने के करीब विच मैं इत्थे आया सीगा मैं कहा भी चलो अपनी पिछले फैमिली वास्ते कुछ ना कुछ करन वास्ते बंदा हाथ गांह तो गांह पाउंदा आ इस करके मैं इत्थे आया सी भी चलो बाहरले देश चलांगा कुछ कमा के लियावांगा मेरे बच्चे दी गांह तो गांह मेरी फैमिली दी मेरा तकरीबन 8 लाख के करीब में 8 तो 8,80,000 रुपया मेरा इत्थे लग गया इत्थे तक आउण दा ठीक है मैनू तां इक्को सहारा हैगा इस टाइम कि गुरु घर दा मैं प्रशादा छकदा ओहदा नाम लेना ओहदा नाम जप के मेरे दिल नूं हौसला हो जांदा जदों मैं बाणी सुणदा कुछ भी मेरे मन दे विच फिर उस वेले मैं अपने दिल नूं हौसला दे के बह जांदा मैं इस वेले आउटसाइड रहना है कोई घर नहीं मेरे पास कोई नहाउण नूं जगह नहीं है कोई टॉयलेट की जगह नहीं है टॉयलेट भी मैं गुरु घर जाना पर मेरा फर्ज तो नहीं बनता पर फिर भी गुरु जी जिहड़ा वो शरण दिंदा है ਉਹਦੀ शरण ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ टॉयलेट करदा ਉੱਥੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਹੱਥ ਧੋਣਾ फिर जाके मैं चाह पानी पीना गुरु घरों गुरु की बाणी सुनदा मन में तसल्ली आ जाती इस टाइम मैं रहना आ मैं कल्ला रहना आ मेरे नाल कोई नहींगा रब दा गुरु दा नाम लैके सौ जाना मैं
Sorry, listen, cut it off for 1 second, yeah?
वाहेगुरु वाहेगुरु कह के सौ जाना मैं
This is what you want.
हो सकता मैनू को मार भी जावे सुते पे नू सुता मोया एक बराबर कोई सहारा नहीं है सहारा तो गुरु का ही है मेरे हिसाब ना तकरीबन जिन्ने que मैं देखदा कि मैनू मैं दा कि भी हो सकता कि मेरे वर्गे मेरे भरा मेरे वीर मेरे बच्चे भी है जिहड़े आए स्टूडेंट ये भी खरे कितां कितां बहुत कहण दा मतलब मैं अणगित दस सकदा तकरीबन मैनू 200 के करीब ਤੇ ਲਗਭਗ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੌਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਮੇਰੀ ਬਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਧੀ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਇੱਥੇ, ਕੋਈ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀਰ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾ, ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਵੇ, ਇੱਥੇ ਧੱਕੇ ਆ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਦੇਸ਼ ਬਲੈਤ ਹੈ, ਬਲੈਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ। ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਰੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਅੱਜ ਨੂੰ ਮਰ ਮੁੱਕ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਖੁਦਕਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ।
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back. We've watched the video. We're still speaking with Mr. Randeep Singh from S.W.A.T. Baji, when I was watching your video, it got me intrigued, but I wanted to know, what it did to me was it made me feel that I wanted to help you, that I wanted to donate. But then I thought, as a lot of people in our community do, that there's a lot of these sort of institutions, not similar to yourselves, you're quite unique that way, but there's a lot of places to donate your money to, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll go through the comments section, see how many people are feeling my way, and in doing so I was going to be able to see if anyone was going to have any information and say, oh, I gave them 50 quid and they didn't do nothing with it or anything like that. But while I was reading the comments, the first comment I came to, if I can quote you on it,
Yes.
This was in July 2013, just this year, not many months ago, 3 months ago, and it basically, this is a direct quote. It said, just kill them, slit their throats according to halal, assuming that we're Muslims,
Yeah.
and put them into cat food cans. If Muslims are so smart, how come they didn't land on the moon?
Right.
How do you combat the sort of misunderstanding and just sheer racism?
Can you just clarify the video that you watched? Which particular video was it that you watched?
That was a video by one of the world's leading broadcasters. It was a video of homeless people in Ealing under a bridge, easily 30, 40 people. The reason I give you this quote as well, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to attack you or anything like that. The reason I think the quote's relevant is because people watching this will only hear your side of the story. They'll only hear you talk about applying for grants, being successful with grants, asking for the community at large to help and receiving that help. It all sounds like a success story with no setbacks. And I just want to make sure that they're aware that you have had setbacks. You do face regular criticism from people who are uninformed, ill-educated. How do you go about addressing people like that? Because that quote speaks for itself.
With regards to the quote in question, in fact, not only people that are quoting us on websites, but we've got local residents around the places where they sleep. Yeah, you're right. We are getting a lot of negativeness.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, this all boils down to one thing, which is lack of education. Okay, so that particular quote.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a clue of a Sikh history.
He hasn't got a clue that they're even Sikhs.
He's got absolutely no. Yeah, forget the history.
He says halal. He says these are.
So
Muslims.
he thinks that these people are Musliman, and so he's totally uneducated. He doesn't know the difference between regions in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Religions.
Yeah.
So lack of education, and then lack of knowledge.
How much of that do
lack of
you
understanding
face regularly?
I'd probably say 50-50.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, where these people are camped out, local residents were up in arms. Get rid of these people. I don't agree that anybody.
Get rid of them to where? That's the whole point. They're not there by choice.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't agree that these people should be camped out the way they were for a number of years where they were.
Yeah.
36 people under a bridge on that particular day. It shouldn't become the norm that we've got a homeless situation in Southall or any part of the UK. In fact, any part of the world. You know, Sikhs have always been these kind of upstanding pillars of the community, have never had homelessness. You know, you go to Punjab and, you know, Sikhs are very well respected.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get homelessness in Punjab. Why is it happening here? So, you know, we do get a lot of criticism. We do get people saying that, why are you helping these people? You know, they've laid their own bed. But when you understand where these people have come from, the hardships they've had, why they've ended up. I'm going to give you an example of a typical scenario of somebody becoming homeless.
Right.
So you come to this country, no relatives, right? You knock on the, you know, you're earning money, you're sending money home, but suddenly the work dries up. So how are you going to pay your rent? You're not. You're going to plead with your landlord. If he's Janga, he might give you 6 months for free or a couple of weeks for free.
6 months.
Some of them do. There are some nice people out there that will say. But then there's going to be a point where then the landlord's going to say, look, I'm going to be homeless as well now if I keep supporting you.
Somebody's got to pay the council tax.
So he evicts. First thing these people do, they go to the Gurdwara. It's a natural reaction. They say to the committee, Sanu help karo. I'm homeless. The committee said, we can't help you. There's nothing we can do for you. Kam labo jaake.
Why?
They haven't got the resource. We haven't got the insurance. We haven't got the insurance to keep homeless people in our properties. This is what I've been told by Southall Gurdwara.
Right.
So they spend the whole day in the Gurdwara. They leave the Gurdwara at night and they'll end up sleeping in the park or under a stairwell. But what happens is with that person, you end up engaging with other homeless people because they recognise that this is a nama homeless banda. Let's take him under our wing. Let's take him to where we are. So you've got this homeless banda and he gets taken in by the existing homeless community.
Yeah.
He goes and he sits with them and he starts picking up habits that they've got. They've got certain habits. They smoke, they drink, they take drugs. Not all of them, but a certain amount do. And they gamble. They start shoplifting to support their habits. So it's basically a downward spiral. I've seen a homeless guy who was pretty much okay, become homeless. He got addicted to drugs. He started shoplifting to support his habit. And he started then, shoplifting and then basically got a criminal record and then started gambling. Because the only other shelter that you've got...
Do you see this? Downward spiral and what have you. Last year you done a sleep out.
Yes.
Sleep out is in the sense that you and how many volunteers?
About 50 of us.
50?
Yeah.
50 people went out and spent the night with these people, yeah? With the homeless?
We didn't. What we did, we camped out in a park.
Right.
And it was a sponsored sleep out to raise money for the charity.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was trying to experience how it feels like to be sleeping out and to raise money at the same time.
What was that like? What was the experience like?
It was freezing cold, to say the least. It was, you know, people were, you know, we did have people that were leaving and saying, this is too cold, we can't handle this.
Really?
Yeah, it was freezing.
One night?
One night, just one night. You know, I'll admit this, and I'll say that, you know, from time to time I was sitting in the van, turning it on and putting the heating on, because it was just, I'm not used to it.
Yeah. Well, you're not obliged to either.
Exactly, yeah.
You tried to do what you had to do, but
yeah,
knowing in the back of your mind that, you know, I can get in the van if I need to.
Yeah. I mean, you know, one thing I want to just quickly go over is, you know, people say to us that, why are you helping druggies? Why are you helping these druggies?
Why are you helping druggies?
Choria, they're doing chori.
Yep.
Right? They're injecting heroin into their veins. And, you know, one question when I started this work was, nobody's forcing them to inject heroin. Why are they doing it? So I asked a question to one homeless person. I said, look, you know, you never used to do this. Why have you started doing it? And his answer was, Baji main hun tanu ki dasa. And then one night, he said to me, randomly, he said, come and spend a night with me under the bridge. I said, fine, let's go. So I went.
This is the bridge that goes over the M4.
That's the
For
same.
anyone that doesn't understand when we're referring to the bridge, it's a bridge that the M4 travels above.
Above.
And
In
it's
and
a
out of
pretty
London.
wide bridge. It's not like a canal bridge that we'd be used to outside of London.
It's the M4.
This is the M4. This is eight lanes wide, above
6 lanes.
6 lanes.
Yeah.
6 lanes. It's a pretty wide bridge. What would you say? At least 200-300 yards.
Easy.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily 200-300 yards wide. So it's not a bridge.
It's a motorway.
As in, a couple of people can get under it. You will easily get 30-40 people underneath that bridge.
Yeah.
Right. Just as by way of clarification, so people know what we're talking about. So he invited you under the bridge.
He said, "Come with me, sit with me." So I took my little stool with a colleague, and and we sat. And my experience, what I saw under that bridge that day was, on one side there was all the guys that were taking the paraphernalia, and one side there was people that were the drinkers, and it was like a community under there.
Yeah.
And then there was people coming, people going. There's a bit of hustle and bustle. There were cars driving past, people shouting abuse at these people. So there's all sorts going on there. Anyway, we sat there, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I sitting here? He's invited me to spend the night with him under the bridge. Obviously, there's got to be a reason behind this.
Yep.
So I sat there with a colleague of mine, and 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it got to a point where I couldn't feel my hands and feet. And I thought, this is getting really cold now, so I put another blanket over myself. And he was there, totally used to the situation. And I was asking him questions like, how do you sleep in this freezing cold weather? Because there was a crosswind coming through that under the bridge. He goes, Majboori, I've got no choice. Anyway, got to about 1 o'clock, 1:30, got to 2 o'clock. And I said, you know what? I can't do this no more. Baji, maaf karna. I've got to go, yeah. I need to get home and thaw my body out. And he said, at this point is where I considered taking heroin.
Wow.
He goes, you've got the choice to go home
Options.
and into your warm bed. I didn't have that option. My option, after weeks and weeks of being on the street, was to take heroin. Like, your option is to go home and go to sleep. Heroin numbs my body and it allows me to sleep. So I don't feel the pain, the cold, the hunger. It suppresses everything. Then I understood why these people...
I've just understood. I was wondering myself, why are you helping druggies?
So I understood. And then, let me give you another scenario. There were 2 guys that used to sleep under that bridge. They were working. Every single day they were working. And I never understood. I thought it's fashionable to be under that bridge. Why are you working, but you're not paying for your accommodation?
Yeah.
And I was pushing and pushing, saying, I'll find you a room low.
Yeah.
And it was like, Baji, hunna pakki dasiye thanu. And one day I stumbled across them. They had a few drinks, and I said, you can spend money on drink.
On alcohol, yeah.
But what? They go, Baji, we have to drink because we're sleeping under the bridge. The reason why we're sleeping under the bridge is because one of them said, I've got 5 daughters. One of them said, Meko 4 nahi aaya. Sariyan vyaun wali aaya. They said, we'd rather save that money that we're going to pay on rent and sleep rough and send everything back to India, so we make sure our girls get married. So, can you see, everybody's got their own difference. You can't just say these people are homeless because of this one reason. No. Each and every single individual have got their own problems. You've got mental health issues. You've got medical issues, alcohol issues, drug issues, financial issues, family issues. We had one guy that had come from, a student that had come from India, and he was living in a house with 12 students. Every single one of those students was on heroin. And he became homeless. And I said to him, give me your number for your mother. I'm going to call your mother and I'm going to tell her, take you back.
Yeah.
He said, I've already called her. She said, koi na put, tu rala, 6 mahine hor katla, dekhla, paise page sanu. So you've got the mothers knowing what's going on, and they're saying, don't worry, ride it out for another 6 months and see what happens. He ended up in prison.
Wow. You know, the Sikh Council UK, I spoke to them a few months ago now. They'd just received a £60,000 grant
Right.
to help destitute Punjabis and help them repatriate,
Right.
for want of a better word. Is that something you'd sort of encourage?
Definitely.
Would
Definitely.
they take it?
Would who? Would the?
Would the homeless say, you know what, buy me a plane ticket, fresh pair of clothes, a change of clothes, which is what they were suggesting. The Sikh Council UK were going to put a package together where they have a change of clothes and £400 or £500, I think it was, to go back to their bend with a sense of dignity. They've got clothes on their back, they've got a change of clothes in a bag, and £400 or £500 to say, I haven't come completely empty-handed. I have come back with something. The bare minimum,
Yeah.
but something. Is that something that would that encourage the destitute as is to
Yeah.
take up an offer like that?
I think to a certain extent, yes, it would, because it would get them thinking that, you know what, actually I've been presented with this opportunity, and I think, yeah, some would, but then on the flip side, you're going to have a certain amount that are going to say no. They're going to be very stubborn and say, I'm not going home with my tail between my legs.
Yeah. Well, I've got 4 daughters, and I'm not going back.
Exactly.
I'm not homeless for that reason.
£400 not going to do a lot.
Yeah. I'm not destitute.
Yeah.
I'm just really trying to save money.
Yeah.
So then, what happens? How is that situation sustainable?
You know, Punjabis are very thick-skinned, what I've learnt. You know, once they've made their mind up, they're very stubborn.
Yeah.
You know, it's their way or no way. So it's kind of hard getting through to some of these people, and to, you know, when you've got their welfare, you know, and you're looking after you're trying to look after their interests, and to try to get that message through to them is sometimes very difficult.
Yeah.
It's you know, there's a big barrier as well between Punjabi and being British born here.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, we can only try, and I think that every avenue is an avenue.
Yeah.
We should never write off any avenue.
So, with regard to that avenue and trying, we're approaching winter. It's getting cold already.
Yeah.
Well, where are we? Second week of November. With regard to that, you're going to start your drive for annual funds.
Yeah.
It's a sing versus food situation.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to our viewers what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we're doing a fundraising event, which is going to be based at Super Sings in.
Super Sings is a restaurant.
It's like a small kind of dabba, yeah,
Right.
in Bedfont, Feltham.
Right.
And they do
Hounslow.
vegetarian food. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to get 6 of the predominant charities, the 6 main charities: S.W.A.T, obviously S.W.A.T, CASA Bikers, Dharam Seva Records, SOPW,
Yeah.
and Seva 84.
Right.
And we're going to have a competition who can eat the most food in a certain amount of time and a certain amount of chilies. And it's all about raising money for the charity and charities working together.
A race to eat food, a certain amount of food and a certain amount of chilies.
A certain amount of chilies.
As in a gully of chilies.
Well, I think the chilies will be in the food.
Right, it won't be separate.
No.
And here's 10 chilies and
No.
let's see if you can get through.
So, you know, it's a fun way
Yeah.
to get the charities together, to raise some money and raise awareness about, you know, what we can do and how we can raise awareness, funds.
Are people welcome to turn up?
Yeah, everybody's welcome. I mean, we're gonna put some flyers out. Keep an eye out on our Facebook page, Twitter. We're gonna push this hard. You know, even if you can't come, donate to it. You know, support your
How
charity.
does one go about donating?
If you go onto we've got a Just Giving page, SWAT Just Giving page.
Just giving.
If you go onto our website, swatuk.org.
Yep.
There's
SWATuk.org.
Yep. You can go on there, and there's ways to donate from there. You can go to our Facebook page, information on there, how to donate. We've got a PayPal account, which is swathomeless@hotmail.com. You can donate through there. So there's different various ways to donate. SWAT London is our Facebook page. So you can send us messages through there.
Yep. Do you reply to people?
Yes.
It's a two-way thing. It's not
Definitely.
just being ignored.
No.
For the public.
We've got 1 or 2 dedicated people that definitely do reply to everybody. And if we haven't replied to you, we apologise, we will.
If anybody was to investigate their own local area and realise that they've, even if it's only 3 or 4, 10 or 15
Yeah.
destitute Punjabis, would you be able to help them? Or would you be able to help them
Absolutely.
set up?
Absolutely. We started off in Southall. We built a massive resource. We've got people like British Airways, GlaxoSmithKline, Euro Car Parts, Riverside Banqueting Hall, Cedar Cash and Carry. This is just a few of the names that we've mentioned, but they're giving us pallets and pallets and pallets of resource. So if anybody's got, regardless, we're not interested in who these people are, whether they're Sikhs or Musliman, Hindu, Christians, what colour they are, what social status they are. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's message was Sarbat recognise the human race as one. So that's what we're trying to implement. We want the world to know that this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's message. We go out to central London every Sunday and we feed homeless people regardless of who they are, where they're from. We don't ask questions. We don't even ask them, are you homeless? Anybody who comes to us, we feed them. And then they ask the question, who are you people? Then we tell them, we're Guru Nanak Dev Ji's people.
That's beautiful. That's really good. With regard to volunteers and help, Sevadars, can people phone you up and suggest when they can come down, I'd like to do some seva with you?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to go to London. And
yeah, we've got a rota system going on at the moment because everybody wants to get involved with the homeless seva.
Right.
So we've got a rota system where we rota people in because at one time we can take 9 people in the van.
Yeah.
That we go out.
Can they not make their own way there?
They can make their own way there, but the problem is what we don't want like lots of people turning up and just standing around, because then it becomes uncomfortable for the people that we're feeding, that people are watching us. So we want to make sure that we've got about 12 people and everybody's actually doing something.
Yeah,
you know,
you've all got a role.
Yeah, everyone's got a role, not just standing around.
Not just standing around, yeah.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Donations of food, clothes. We're in the process of opening up a charity shop on Springfield Road in Hayes.
Yep.
And it's going to be homelessness and the youth project is just 2 of our projects. We've got a football academy which is sponsored by Euro Car Parts. We've got a kung fu class. We've got mixed martial arts classes going on.
Where are they based?
Jaldi Kala Turban Academy is part.
Is Jaldi Kala Turban Academy part of SWAT as well?
Well, he's working under our umbrella.
Coordinated.
We're coordinating, yeah. Above Springfield Road, next to Cedar Cash and Carry, is where we've got our HQ, SWAT HQ, and above there we've got quite a large space where we hold some of these classes. The MMA is in Lord Green Castle School. The football academy is at Garib Nawaj on Springfield Road. Yep. We've got bar classes on Saturday mornings. So lots of more activities.
Fully integrated into the community.
Yeah, and
SWAT.
Yeah, and this is just a fraction of the projects that we're going to start. We want to start lots more projects. So if anybody out there has got an idea of a project they want to start and they want to manage and run with the project, contact us. And if it's feasible, we'll give you the resource. We've got the resource, and you can manage your own project under SWAT.
And run with it. And Randeep Singh, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Fascinating to speak to you today.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you on behalf of myself, Sangat Television, for taking the time out and enlightening our viewers on what you do and what you represent and what you've achieved and what you hope to achieve. And from everybody here and our viewers, we thank you and hope you all the best wishes and good luck this winter. If anybody is sitting at home, would like to start a SWAT team within your area, you've heard the multitude of community activities that they are involved in. Get yourselves onto swatuk.org, get in contact on their Facebook page, and make a difference in your own area. Once again, we thank you for watching. Thank you from everybody here at Sangat Television. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.